friends, welcome back. Let's take a look at the ZIL USD chart because I've been asked a couple of times to take a look at Zilliqa. Maybe I should have this on the favorites list for just now. So ZIL USD. Sorry, hit the microphone. Right, that'll do. That's not the one I would have wanted, but whatever. ZIL BTC. We'll have those two on there for now. Wow, 10% up today. So far, just early glances, that's good to see. So let's just do a quick run through on this one as a bonus coin for today, shall we? We'll start off in the 24-hour time frame, and we'll take note of the first most obvious thing jumping at us, is that we're just kind of challenging at the minute the 21 EMA. Let's zoom right on into the price action, undo that, zoom right on into the price action, drag it up a bit, and say, yo, hey, look, we're above the 21 EMA, above this previous sort of this elbow here. Let's just say 0.0204. What are we looking at here? This is cents, right? Yeah. So at 2 cents. So the 21 EMA is coming in at 2 cents, 2.004 cents, 2.004 cents. Yeah. And the price at the minute is 2.11. So this is really good to see happening here above the 21 EMA. How is it shaped up in the run into this? If this is a downward trend since the 10th of June, this is a low, higher low, a low, etc. There's no bullish divergence on the go here to say that this is turning around as yet. Can quite then easily look and say that the next significant challenge is going to be 2 cents, 0.2 cents, 22 cents, 0.002. I don't know what the naming convention is going to be for these things, millicents or whatever. So yeah, down there though, at that area there, let's just stick a horizontal in. Alt H, I believe. Alt H, pow, line coming in, pow. And then let's take a look down the way. So overall, it's good to see that we're above the 21 EMA. That's maybe the first thing we need to have happen. Come down here, tested this. We've moved on below it. That's not great. Come up a bit again since, if this was the 20 here, then that would be like the middle line of your Bollinger. So you could be, you're just coming back up above towards the middle of the Bollinger. Maybe I could put the Bollinger on and maybe it would have wicked off of it there. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. We're just kind of looking at this briefly and saying that's the most important thing at the minute in terms of this price action. It has an upward trend then. How has the upward trend been doing? So we've drawn a line down here from where it started trending down at and looking back the way and saying, how was this? And this was bearishly divergent here, then bearishly divergent to here. So there's two instances of bearish divergence on these three peaks here. Then it went up higher anyway. There's a good warning sign to people. Bearish divergence is always just a warning sign. Went up higher anyway and managed to kind of get equally as high as it was before in the RSI, if not a little higher. Then came in for its final one with more bearish divergence kind of kicking back in again, as you would kind of expect, I suppose, being up in the 90s on the RSI. And then it's cooled off again. And what's we've had happen here as a result of the prices dropping down so far is they've come all the way down to below the neutral line. And in terms of an upward trend, you can look to the neutral line and say maybe this area could be considered to be oversold. So, kind of oversold slightly, oversold in the stochastics as well, and a kiss here in the DMI. Well, the ADX remains above 50, above 50. Yeah, so it's like that's high, but it remains above 20, obviously. You can see that very often, that it doesn't, doesn't come up above 50 very often, but when it does tend to turn around. So like this would be kind of like a warning sign to us to say like, hey, this is very high. It could easily come down the way and is maybe due to. But then on the other side, and it hasn't reset maybe quite enough for us. But then again, it could still keep on going up, in which case it would be quite parabolical. So let's just look up the time frames instead here real quick and go to the weekly time frame and see, did we have anything here? Yeah, there was this bullish divergence on the stochastics. Bullish divergence on the stochastics. And there wasn't any on the RSI, was there? That was just going up. Oh, there was. Or was there? That's curvy bit was the last one. This is where it's kind of the last actual low was it there. So yeah, so there was actually bullish divergence on the weekly. So that's good. What we've got then is a lip here, a rim here, a rim here. There's the potential for a cup and handle here. let's get the old brush out, say here's a rim, here's this. If the prices did drop off and went, let's just for argument's sake say no lower than just here in general, that would be a really nice handle which would shake a lot of people out of the market, dropping down by a significant percentage, actually. That would be like a fucking 50% drop in price. That would shake everyone out, and then the market could then go on up. So if there is a negative time frame for a while, and this is where the weekly 21 EMA comes in at around about. If it comes down and tests the 21 weekly EMA, then I would look for a cup with handle. Okay, then back down again. But that was okay. That was good to see that. It's found some resistance at the previous sort of level that it got to. Wicked up there, came down a bit, asked a couple of questions. It's doing maybe what needs to happen to an extent. It really depends on how it manages to maintain these areas and if it can stay above the sort of smaller time crucial thing. So 2-day 21 EMA coming in at 17. It's the same scenario when you look down the way in terms of the time frames about whether or not this could be a cup and handle. See the volume dropping off and that with the rims showing us the increase in volume and things like that. 2 days pretty much the same. The daily we already covered all the divergence and everything on it as well. But looking good for a sort of general sort of cup with handle type thing. Just in general could be, but I would rather see in terms of just this 21 EMA be retaken than it moving towards the top side and just continuing the upward weekly momentum and having reset here on the daily, coming down slightly to the oversold area, then making its way back up again. That would be good. 12-hour, pardon me. Quite clearly see the divergence here in the 12-hour zoomed out between these areas. On the charts, although the last two seem to be so anyway, you can see it. Is this head and shoulders you looking on the 12 hours? Zooming right on in. This would be to be aware of. Not really, but just a question of shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline in this area breaking below the 17 could bring us on down towards these lower targets like we thought about where the weekly 21 EMA is. So I suppose that could be how you could look at things over here just in general, although it's not perfect. Going down again to the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to have to hide my drawings now. Spoke too soon. We came down and hit the 233 simple moving average, or 200 simple and the 233 exponential hit. Both of them went back up above the 21 EMA. We're in golden cross conditions in the 4-hour. Are we on them on the 24-hour as well? I would say so, but yeah, we are since 17th of May. Yeah, so Zilliqa's had a good uprise in price. That's been good to see, and long may it continue. Should these levels towards the downside that we spoke about, 17, 15, and then 10, all be maintained overall, and there could be various different setups going on the way. There could be a sort of potential for head and shoulders in there, a reversal type, short, medium term reversal, which could bring us down to some of those targets in the bigger for the bigger picture. And then if it does turn around and go back up towards the top side and put in a triple peak, a third peak here with this one, I'd be asking the question at that point for sure about whether or not that was a cup with handle. And overall, we had some bullish divergence on the weekly, which has gone up and put in a higher high here compared to the previous high without the divergence. So things are looking quite good there. Strength of trend on the weekly has gone up above 20 on the ADX. Things are all right. We're having a bit of a reset to an extent. Let's see if there's anything particularly different to look to on the Bitcoin charts just for now. This will take a little bit less time than the dollar one did. We're above all the major moving averages here that are available and populated on the charts are so far in terms of the weekly time frame as a result of this recent move up the way. That's good to see. 2-day, we're above the 21 EMA here and the 233 above all major moving averages on the 2-day time frame at that 209 Satoshi level, assuming that's Satoshi's. 24-hour time frame, we're just actually doing the same thing as on the dollar prices. It's all the same setup there. Really, the touches of divergence on the way up is the same scenario as well. So what we were looking at, the 4-hour time frame, actually 12-hour time frame first. Head and shoulders, it's less working. Shoulder, head. And then if this was a shoulder, then your neckline is a slopey one like that, and you've got your break move down the way anyway, potentially completed. But if that was if it's not actually like that, instead it's more like a Adam and Eve type thing, or a shoulder with a double head and a shoulder over here. So then you could look towards those things really for it. We're below the 12-hour 21 EMA. That would be offering us up resistance, I suppose, currently for us. That's the first time we've seen a major moving average that we're not above. Currently, going down to the 4-hour time frame, then you find a selection of them with the 50s there above the price action, above the 21 EMA on the 4-hour. Again, the same question can be asked with this sort of head and shoulder type psychology. Now, it's not the head and shoulders itself that I care about. It's this level, really, to be honest with you here, which I'm talking about. Breaking down below that 192 could see the prices go on down to, just various other levels. That's where you've got the 200 simple moving averages and whatnot, confluence of them in there. Looking up towards the daily time frame, breaking down below these levels could take us down to the sort of the next ones at 150 or whatever, and that would be a significant drop off in the prices, and could see those sorts of things happen in terms of like the right visit in the weekly 21 EMA, for instance, in here at 123, with taking a chunk of almost 50% off the price action and whatnot. You could see that happen. It's not got the same sort of quite balance to it in terms of the cup with handle type scenario. If this were to just be a downward trend as well, then this would be a lower high compared to here, just in the bigger picture of things. And looking at this, it's like this hidden bearish divergence on the highs. I'd like to see this moving up, within the next sort of month, up above the 300 Satoshi level, so that we can kind of undo some of this and make it so that's not possible to be that. Instead, we're looking at a different scenario of local highs and whatnot. Going to leave off here today on this one. If there's anything else you'd like me to look at, then that's cool. This has just been a bonus for today. Been a while since I've done one, so I figured I would. Somebody asked me to do this one. And yes, of course, then maybe I'll do weekly sort of altcoins of the week. If I had to do an altcoin of the week, by the way, it would be one of the ones I tweeted about a long time ago. Lend Bitcoin, for instance. Altcoin of the week, right? I tweeted about this ages ago. I tweeted back about here. I don't know. It's not ages and ages. This is the weekly time frame, but ever since then, just like up. And it's been doing really, really well. If you want to have like a bit of chat about something, this has just like been a phenomenal set of price action by this coin Lend here in the 24-hour time frame. You can see we've actually managed to come up here and put in these highs without any divergence as well. There is some on the stochastics, but not on the other two oscillators. Plenty of room for higher lows to come in at with breaking macro structure towards sort of topside action. It's been a long time since the prices were above sort of previous peak areas in the market, and we did them one by one here on the Zilliqa price, or the Lend price action, moving towards the top side here and challenging the sort of the lift off head and shoulders rocket drop that we started off with over here on the left. Eventually having just started that. So if there was one that I would have talked about, then it was just purely my own choice. Probably would have been that one, or one. Where's one at? One. It's up 5% today. Zoomed in. Spoken about this one a couple of times in the past as well, actually on the shows, never mind just tweeting or whatever. And you can see that we've had this here could potentially be coming in for some bearish divergence potentially. So there's more interest in price action on the go here. DMI is looking all right. Stochastics and RSI not so much. Need to see this kind of get a bit more enthusiasm, push a little bit higher, and actually try up towards the 60 area, or else maybe we're getting a bit of bearish divergence. But we are above all of the major moving averages, other than the 233 exponential moving average, which is still above our heads. I wonder where the 200 is coming in at for this one as well. So we're above the 200. I'm looking to see the 233 get broken myself personally on this one, and that to happen in amongst all this other stuff as we're like, and to throw off the shackles of the bearish divergence possibility there on this one. But just kind of zooming right into the price action and looking at it compared to this high compared to this high. This is where we're seeing the divergence at. This high compared to the other one, when on our way up, there's no divergence there, but it's not fair to say that was a high and a local low, really. So kind of just hoping that if this does go in and put in a higher low, that it comes in and gets supported by the 21 EMA, doesn't drop too much below 45. But this is more interesting in terms of just the price action on it alone, looking up to the weekly time frame. In terms of like cup with handle types chat and whatever with Zilliqa and whatever, you had your inflection point over here, or beyond that over here on the one pricing. And in terms of like the 4 hour time frame, you've got some more bearish divergence just here on the 4 hour time frame. You do. So I'm kind of interested in this in terms of tradability over the next wee while, and the volatility aspect of this one, it might be a bit more organic, actually, to be honest with you, rather than the other one, which is kind of missing a touch of that. But who cares if it's organic or not, so long as it gets us there? Isn't that right in the end? Thanks so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. This has been a bonus coin video for Zilliqa, despite the fact that I've talked as much about other coins as Zilliqa, really, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah. Thanks so much. Catch you next time. Be sure to tune into the channel for daily technical analysis for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tezos, and Chainlink. That's the ones I do every single day. And watch today's Bitcoin video. You'll really appreciate it, I think, probably in terms of like getting to know me and stuff like that. Or are we starting to just get the price action towards the downside now? Maybe on one, just as you know, it's more. This is what I was finding kind of interesting in a minute. But yes. Anyway, catch you later.